So I'm going to be here all day. I actually forgot to book a hotel, so I'm probably going to be sleeping here. So I'm going to be here till like 12, and then I'm going to sleep. And I'll wake up. I'll do that. Don't care. Wake me up. I don't mind. Yeah, I work at Esri, and we do mapping, location, GIS, geospatial software, whatever you want to call it. It's maps essentially at the end of the day. Our development tools are relatively new. This website's only been here for about like a year, like 2 years now, I think. So the first thing I recommend to do would be to sign up if you haven't already. There's a free chance to win a pebble. So if you sign up, screenshot it, send it to my address, which is jmilner@esriuk.com. Then you're in a chance to win a pebble. So I'll get that. So this is our developer site. You can kind of get a little bit of an overview of what the APIs can do. You can see on the left-hand side, so those are the, I said this earlier, but I'll go over it again. Those are the kind of platforms that we support. Obviously, Silverlight, Flex is kind of on the way out, and WPF is on the way out, probably more .NET now. But I guess the ones you guys are probably going to be most interested in are probably JavaScript and the Android and iOS stuff. So I'll probably try and focus more on those. I'm not an expert in all of those things, so I don't know much about iOS, and I'm going to say I don't know much about Mac OS X iOS. So I can try, but I'm not necessarily. You're better off looking at the docs for that stuff. Having said that, there's a lot of crossover. They've reasonable amount of parity, so you should be able to do most stuff you can do in one SDK. You should be able to do in the other. So best thing is just check the docs. The docs are pretty good. So you can see there's kind of things that you might want to do with our APIs and SDKs. So I think one of the nice things to do would be, first of all, show you demos, just to instill some kind of things that you can do with it, and then maybe look at some sample code, just have a little dig into one of them, maybe the JavaScript, if that's cool with you guys. Probably the one I use the most, so easiest to talk about for me. I'll just show you. So this morning I'll just show this one because it's up here now. So this is JavaScript heat maps. So say for example you have some data in, so you have data that has some sort of like location element to it. So it could be like some GeoJSON or some JSON, for example. You can take that and you can push that into a web map, and then you can use. We have renderers, so you can either have a point renderer, which is obviously would just display these points, but then what else you can do is you can do a heat map renderer, so you can render stuff based on an attribute of that point, and it will like make it displayed as you can see up on the screen. So these are all, you can change all these values programmatically. This is just showing like what would happen if you change the blur radius. So you can change the visualization part of it. Is very like manipulable, like you can change that very easily. While I'm doing that, let me just see if I can show you. This will be so I'm just clicking on. So now I just click on the JavaScript, obviously, and then this gives you a bit of how to. So with the JavaScript, you just put in the CSS and you put in the JavaScript API as per that, just a couple lines. And one thing to say about JavaScript is it uses Dojo. Don't ask me why it uses Dojo. It was because when we were first making it, it was one of the few libraries that had good manipulation over SVG, so like scalable vector graphics, which are obviously quite important when you're working with a lot of vector data. And it also uses require.js, which is like a module loader. So each time you want to use a piece of functionality, you have to pull it in as a module. As you can see, so we've got Esri /, we require Esri /map, and that's the Esri map module. that does all the stuff that relates to the map. And then DOM ready, you can kind of ignore that, but and then when you go on to write the function, so that's you have to have your parameters have to be in the same order as the order in which you load up your modules. So for example, there you can see it's Esri map, and the first one is map. If I was to then load in, say, like graphics or something, then the next one would have to be map, and then it would be graphics. So they have to be in the same order, otherwise you'll, like, 7 times out of 10, that's the cause for most errors when you're using this API, because it's just getting really confused about the order in which things have been loaded in. So it's assigning, you're trying to do, like, use methods on the wrong function essentially because it thinks that one module is another. So just make sure, that's really important, make sure, as a JavaScript API, make sure you get everything in the same order for the require and for the actual initialization function as well. And you can see there, like, when you initialize the map, it's literally just map, new map, and then you're just giving it some parameters as like a base JavaScript project. So center, obviously it's a center. One thing that throws people quite a lot, and you'll find this maybe if you've used our stuff before, is that it's let me make sure I get this right, because I don't want to say it wrong. I think it's latitude, longitude, so it's X, Y is the easiest way to think about it, because otherwise you end up, like, all your points will be, if you're doing the UK, all your points will be off like the west coast of Africa, which is obviously not great. So make sure, if you're getting that, just switch them around, and it'll be fine. Zoom level just depicts how far zoomed in you are, so higher equals more zoomed, lower equals less zoomed. Right. Base map, so we've got, one sec, I'll just show you the base map gallery. So we've got like a fair amount of base maps we can make use of. Obviously some of them are more suited to certain things, so this is just the topographic one, the street map, sorry. I'll change that to streets. Terrain. Light grey. Light grey is quite nice if you want like kind of a more like even tone feel across without like loads of visual clutter. If you just want to display things nicely, it's quite nice for that. Imagery and imagery labels. So if you just want imagery without anything on it, imagery. If you want like a bit more context, labels gives you that. There's like National Geographic, oceans. If you're doing stuff in oceans, that's quite cool. And OpenStreetMap, which is, I'm sure, have you guys heard of OpenStreetMap? Yeah. Yeah, cool. Alright, I won't go into too much, but it's basically a crowdsourced map. It's cool, check it out. So that's the base map. What was I talking about? So that's an example using that. Maybe I should be best if I carry on. So yeah, there's a guide. So if you want like a more like written down introduction to that. So,
can I ask quickly?
Yeah, of course.
Is this really based on the open
OpenStreetMap? No, it's not. So we use their map type. So OpenStreetMap is an option as a base map. So they have their data, and that comes into our system as.
So you get like the location.
You mean like as a.
Like the longitude and latitude of streets and like.
We have that built into. We have our own system for doing that. But when you so you can use it as a base map, and then you use what we have is called like a locator. So that means when you type, as in like the Google Maps API, when you type something, it gives you, oh, it's here, and it will like geocode it to a location. We've got like our own system, our own locator for doing that. Just thinking, maybe you might be able to use the. I've never used it, so I don't know, but there might be an OpenStreetMap like locator that you can use.
Well, yeah, I tried to do that previously with groups, but I didn't do that much. But I remember, yeah, you could do that as much as.
Okay, cool. Let me have a. I don't know because I've never used. Tried to do it, but I'll have a dig into it and I can get back to you about it.
Okay, thank you.
Cool, no worries. a guide which just kind of, if anything I gloss over, there's kind of a bit more in depth about how to do that. API reference literally just gives you all the things you need to do. And the nicest thing I think is the sample code. So whatever you're trying to do, there's probably a sample for it already that you can use as like a boilerplate. And again, like I was saying, like this spans across all the different APIs and SDKs. So I'd say JavaScript is probably one of the more in-depth ones, just because it's one of the more popular. So for example, you can do like geocoding. So you can geocode an address. So you give it an address and it'll give you a point as you would when you plug it into Google Maps or Bing Maps or whatever. And again, reverse geocode, so you can take a point and you can try and get an address. I guess so one of the things that is in this somewhere but I can't find it right now is geolocation. So in HTML5 you can get your user's location regardless if they're on a mobile device or a desktop. So you can literally get a lat long from natively in any browser that supports geolocation. And that actually works, like I'm not too hot on exactly the very specifics, but Google has some like database of people's like Wi-Fi like routers, and through known locations of GPS they can gradually more and more accurately pinpoint where those routers are, so that when you are geolocating you can find, because those routers have a known location, it checks the Wi-Fi of the local the Wi-Fi levels, and if it recognises them then it can kind of triangulate your position, which is kind of freaky. So yeah, so like I said, renderers, so you have your point data and you have different types of renderers depending. So like fast rate rendering, so that is saying like, I don't know, 1 to 100 where 1 would be green and 100 is red, you know, order it on that basis. So I guess layers is quite important to talk about. So we have our own kind of geometry services. So we have this thing called ArcGIS Online. So when you sign up to the developer account, you also get free access to ArcGIS.com or ArcGIS Online. Which allows you to kind of gives you like a web interface for like a GUI for doing like web mapping. So I'll just give you a quick overview of what that is. But it's quite nice because it means you can take like things like GeoJSON if you have like data in GeoJSON format, or like CSVs with latitude, longitude, or XY, or even addresses. And you can go, you can upload them, and then you can turn that into something called a feature service, which is our kind of system for taking data, and you can literally, like one line of code, point that at your, when you programmatically doing that in JavaScript or whatever language or platform you're using, you can add that to your map as a layer, and like I was saying, like render it depending on what renderer you want to use, or display the icon. You can choose the graphics or the symbol type, display in different ways. So it's quite nice if you just want to put points on the map like manually, you can do that. So it's a bit annoying because this is, I don't know why they do this, but you have to go to developers service into your map, or wherever that is. Doesn't matter, you could replicate that over like 100 different maps if you wanted to. The whole point is it's like a service that you can fire off to different. And again, you can use that feature service on any of the platforms, so on the web map or in your map on your Android device or wherever, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, one of the issues is you can, if you want something to, as a feature service you get, it's a lot easier to kind of pull information straight into a map, but that might not necessarily, your data might be coming out of like a different kind of API. It's coming out as like GeoJSON or something. There's something called Q, which is like I've never used it. I think it's like a Node.js plugin where you can expose your GeoJSON as a feature service. The Q is on GitHub. That's a nice little diagram that kind of explains how people. So you push the data to Q and then it will push it out inside of GeoJSON or a feature service. There's another thing called Terraformer, which is quite nice for working with different data formats, like different geographic data formats. So for example, there's something called well-known text that can transfer that straight into like a JavaScript object. On the same way you have a Hot.js service that will transfer it into a JavaScript object. What else is there? You can do like geometry editing, like in your app, so you can edit geometries.
You said what? DJI using in their like application.
Sorry, say that again?
You know the DJI inspired on drone, like the DJI drone.
DJI Drone?
Yeah, drone. Have you ever? Well, they use the same thing I thought they're using Israel.
Okay, I've not heard of that. I'll have to Google that. So there's a nice example, points, times. Okay. Probably being a bit aggressive, I guess. Oh right, okay, I'll hold it down. But there you go, that's an example. It's a nice code example of how to show how to do that. So many tab codes. So how does this look in code? So here's an example I've got for OxHack. So you can see I'm requiring all the different things that I need. So for in the API reference, it'll tell you the module name and also the recommended parameter name. So for example, you know how I was saying earlier about map and then map in the function and then graphic, and they have that match up. Just make sure you get that right. So again, create a default map. This is without using a feature service, so if you just want to create points and graphics and just put them straight on the map and you're not too fussed about having a feature service, you can still do that. Obviously you get like a feature service that's a lot more versatile, but if you just quick and ready want to get some points on a map, you can do it like this. So you define a graphics layer, you have a geometry as a point, and then you have a marker symbol, and then you can change things, so you can set a color, and it just takes colors quite versatile, so it will take hex, it will take red, it will take, actually, I don't know if it will take red, but it will definitely take hex and RGB, possibly also RGBA, I can't really remember. So if you check the documentation, you can see, but it's not just limited to text. Set the size, and that's just in pixels. And then you add it as a graphic, and you add that to the info template is essentially just a pop-up that you get. If I save this now. Save it. That's that. Pop-up. And you can change, like, in CSS you can change the size of the so now it's 50% height, etc. Basically, all the documentation is the best source. It's like the basic whole program that you can do. I'm happy to take like specific questions and talk about things like specific things in more detail. I'll just show you a couple of quick demos of like cool stuff that we've done. So that's actually a based rendering. So values by color, but also so you have a layer which is vegetables, and then high values are not opaque, and then low values are opaque. That's something that just came out. This is something I made. So this is live forest. If you take TFL data, it's live forest type feeds for availability. So I click on that, and it just gives me bikes available, empty slots. Quite simple. Something someone did with P3, which is like a JavaScript library, just about baseball. I don't know anything about baseball, but it tells you how much people get paid. Too much money. This is drive time. So, for example, as I move my mouse, it's like live rendering how far I could drive from that position in, I think, 5 minutes. You can change that, so I can change that to like 7 minutes, and you'll see the area increases. So these are just some ideas of stuff you can do. Like this is just an example of, I can't see this very well, but this is geo-triggers. So push notifications when people enter geofences, and geofences can be like arbitrarily sized. Yeah, it's kind of like the there. Kind of there's a lot of stuff in there, so I don't want to go like I'm just trying to get a good bit of an overview. So you can get data as well. So for example, I can click on Oxford and I can get age, average household size. That's the only two things I can get right now, but there's other stuff in there as well. Oh yeah, really just a quick one as well. Important to mention there's a REST API as well. So if you want like just the numbers or like just processing, and you don't want any of the other stuff, say you want to write like a Python script or like whatever language, you can do that. If I can find the rest of it. Oh, it's not on there, is it? Cool website. But yeah, if you just Google it, it's just a URL, you pass it parameters depending, like there's different REST endpoints that you can send parameters to, and it will give you back like drive time area or whatever it may be. Cool. I think I'll probably wrap it there because I've probably waffled on forever. Does anyone have any questions?
So can these feature sets, can you modify them programmatically?
Yeah.
So like clients can add, is it just points, or can you have geometry data as well? Or
Any geometry type, so
okay.
points, lines, polygons. I mean, I have a feeling actually, having said that, that each feature service is limited to, like, if you have a feature service that's points, it has to be points that you
Okay,
have.
right,
If it's polygon feature service, it has to be polygons.
Yeah.
But
so, like, just as an example, for that the geo-trigger one, could you, for example, have an application where users draw their own geometry with like points of interest, and then when they could write something about it, and then when you walked in, it would ping you with what they said.
Yeah,
Would that be possible?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
There's actually I know for Android, I'm not a big guy, like I said, I'm not a big iOS guy, but on Android there's a really good example of like editing your own polygons on you mash it up with geotriggers. So you could use point geotriggers. It's worth mentioning the geotriggers is actually a separate SDK you have to install as well.
Okay.
We're trying to get it just integrated in, but we actually bought it off another company, so we're just trying to mash it into one. But you can still unload it, it's the same principle. But yeah, so you could use the polygons that you've drawn on the screen to then use as geotriggers. Any other questions?
For the CSV file,
Yeah.
should it be one column for lat, one column for long, or I don't want to do it and then have to redo it?
Yeah, no, one column for that, one column for long.
Okay. And comment?
For CS,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Or like, I mean, if there's nothing you want to shout out right now, like I said, I'm going to be around all day, so come find me and I can point you in the right direction. I can try.
I don't know if everyone wants to leave, but could you just take, once you have a lat long,
Yeah.
where in your code would you insert the lat long?
You mean like as a graphic or as like a... So, when you upload it to ArcGIS and you have your CSV, you click on the CSV and you just say publish as a feature service. It'll turn that like kind of CSV and turn it into that, like that feature service that I was saying. So, I can't find it right now, but it will publish the feature service and then it's just a line of code to run it all. Cool. Cheers guys.
Thank you.